السلام عليكم، شخباركم كلكم؟ اليوم عندنا حلقة في برنامج ويانا معاكم يوسف الرومي
علي اشكراني.
فطبعا اليوم مثل ما تقول
مميز،
مو بس مميز تقدر تقول انطلاق الحلقة رسميا.
اي نعم.
انزين بس طبعا في شوية technical difficulties لازم ما في شيء يصير صح. فللأسف الفيديو شوية راح تشوفون مال ضيفنا راح يكون شوية مو واضح. انزين بس هذا احسن شيء كنا نقدر احنا نسويه بالاخر 24 ساعه، لان صارت مشكله معنا امس بالليل واحنا قاعد نجهز.
اللي كان معانا ايام فريز كلاب عارف احنا شنو قصدنا بسيت اب جيتو.
لا صدق سيت اب مال جيتو يعني
حيل تعبان، يعني سيت اب حيل تعبان حيل بايخ، بس يلا نمشي.
فشو نسوي؟ انزين فنبلش عليوي الضيف.
نبلش عطى انترودكشن.
فنبي نقدم لكم ضيفنا المميز، ضيف اول حلقه ببرنامج ويانا. We would like to introduce our first guest and the first guest in the Wiyana show, Mr. David Weiss. Hello, David.
Hello, thank you very much for inviting me onto your show.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
And again, we just, in Arabic, we're just telling our viewers that we had some technical difficulties which we told you about. So we're sorry for, any bad quality from our end. We're sorry about that. We apologize.
Well, technology wouldn't be technology without a few technical hitches. So
True.
To be able to do this, even though there's room for improvement as you develop.
Right. I mean, hopefully next time it'll be much better.
Yeah.
So, anyways, David, we just wanna tell the people, what you do and your time in Kuwait. So obviously, you're a video game music composer. You've worked on games such as Donkey Kong Country, Star Fox Adventures, Snake Pass, Yooka-Laylee, and others. I believe you also did the NES game RC Pro-Am.
Yes, absolutely. And things like Battletoads back in the day.
Battletoads, that's a classic. That's a classic. So obviously, we have a legend with us. And actually David came to Kuwait, last year, and he did a live performance of, various bits of music, and the crowd just went crazy for, what you did. So anyways,
I remember my friend actually came up to me after the show and he was like, dude, I'm listening to real Donkey Kong music live. And he had like tears were going to fall down from his eyes. But, he toughed up.
Hopefully there were tears of enjoyment.
Yes.
So yeah, we have some questions, but we'll leave the questions to the end. We just wanted to talk to you in general, about your work, how you started in the video game industry, and then we'll just get on to the viewer questions. So how did you get your start, David?
Yes. So should we start at the beginning about how I got into the video game industry?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case. It was many years ago, more than 2. I was working in a music store. I was upstairs selling drums, and Yamaha came in, and they bought this computer. It was called a CX5, and a very early computer, very big screen and everything. And they wanted somebody at the store to learn how to use the CX5 computer so that they could sell it to people. And there were no volunteers to learn how to use it. And I thought, well, I'm tired of being upstairs selling drums. It'd be nice to be on the main floor where I could see out of the windows and be sociable and see people. So I volunteered to learn this system called the CX5. The other good thing about that is I got an extra day off a week for about 6 weeks, so I could specifically learn how to use this computer that Yamaha did.
Nice.
So it was whilst learning to do that, that 2 gentlemen came in and they asked for a demonstration, and I had my CX5 computer hooked up to things like Roland Juno keyboards, anything with MIDI, and there was a DX7 and a DX21, and I was doing lots of sort of chart hits from the UK in the 80s, things like We Close Our Eyes and New Howard Jones songs. And after the demonstration, they said, well, do you have any more songs that you can show us? So I scratched my head and thought, well, I've got a few of my own that I've written. So I showed them, and one of them turned to the other, he said, oh, Monsters. And I was a bit confused. So he said, yeah, that sounds like Monsters to us. So they offered me a job really there and then. They said the office, thinking I was going to sign them up on finance, and I was sold another one, but instead they offered me a job to work at this company they were setting up called Rare Limited, and that's how I got my first job writing music for video games.
Nice.
So you were one of the first employees at Rare.
Yeah, one of the very first. Yes.
And
there are a couple of artists. There was another guy called Mark Betteridge, who was this fantastic Uber programmer, and later on a guy called Kev came on to do graphics as well. So yeah, one of the first 5.
And the two gentlemen that came to the store were, I'm guessing, the Stamper brothers.
That's right, Tim and Chris Stamper, and they had this company that they called Rare or Rareware, and they were going to get me to write music for them. It was a big learning curve.
Nice.
Well, I just want to say that specifically during the N64 era, Rare was, after Nintendo, it was my second favorite development company.
That's good. Yeah, well, we had a lot of support from Nintendo during that era. Had a lot of SG machines, Silicon Graphics.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a great time to be writing and developing video games in the industry. Yeah, we all enjoyed it. I don't think we appreciated how much we did enjoy it, but you know, we can look back now and think that was a great time.
I mean, what I liked about Rare in general, not just the music, but just, you know, Rare as a company, it definitely had like its own style in both, you know, the art, the music, the game direction. Their games, especially during the N64 era, were extremely unique. Like, my favorite game from that era is actually Blastcore.
Yes, that was a great game. Graham Norgate did the music for that one, and it was a good team. I think some of the reason why we were so unique, or we had our own way of doing things, is that the development office was in the middle of Twycross. There's not a lot around Twycross, apart from fields and sheep, and there's a zoo there as well. And we had development barns at this farmhouse, so we were really disconnected from the rest of the world, out on our own in this kind of bubble of game development, and that probably helped with our style. And also, whilst we were there, we all had our own development officers, so we might have 3 or 4 teams, and each team wasn't really allowed to go and see the other team, so we were all separated. We were all competing against each other, trying to outdo each other, and that's probably why we try to make better games, just to outdo the people who were on the same side, you know, our friends that we talk to now, to outdo each other. And I think that probably helped with the quality and the level of the video games that we came out with.
And in that area, in Twycross, I'm guessing there wasn't that many development studios, correct?
No, it was just Rare Limited and a shop that sold tractors.
Wow.
And that was it.
You know, I didn't even know about, you know, the town Twycross, except from, you know, information that I read from, you know, back in the day, game magazines like Rare, the company from Twycross. Otherwise, I would never have heard of that town.
Yeah, it's not even a town, it's just a little village. It's really a few houses in the middle of nowhere.
So they really
manage it, and that's about it really. I think Addiston is probably the nearest town to it. It's not far from Ashby-de-la-Zouch, and in the big scheme of things, it's probably nearer to Birmingham than it is to London, but it's still out in the country and miles away from anywhere.
Wow.
So what you're saying is they held you hostage outside of society and civilization, so you could make no money.
It's like the Naughty Boys Club.
Wow, that's, and I'm guessing like during the Super Nintendo and N64 era, you would guys get frequent visits from like Nintendo of Japan and stuff like that.
Sorry, say that again.
During the N64 era and the Super Nintendo era, I'm guessing because you had like a very close relationship with Nintendo, would Nintendo come to visit you guys instead of you visiting them?
I think some of us, I never went over to see Nintendo at their offices. They would come over and see us. And I think the guys from NOA came over a couple of times as well. But on the whole, Nintendo left us to get on with it. We'd send the bills over.
Nice.
But it was really left to Tim and Chris to go over to Japan and liaise with Nintendo directly there. So they came over every now and again. But on the whole, they just let us get on with it. They'd soon let us know if we'd gone off on a tangent or the wrong direction.
Cool.
That's
Cool.
a good style of managing things. Let the people who are working on it just do their thing and see what comes of it. So I kind of like that approach, actually.
Yeah, it did seem to work. We're in that kind of bubble out in the middle of nowhere, and so we had each other to kind of bounce ideas off. But it was also before the days of the internet. There was no reference, which was a bit hard. But the other side of it is there were no distractions either. It was creating video games or creating video games, or you weren't there. And so we just got that process very focused of producing these video games that we were still trying to be better than the nature and the barn over the way.
And then can you tell us like what you did in your career after Rare? I think you left Rare in 2007.
It's just over 10 years ago when I left, and the first thing I did, I did a game for Sony. And but whilst I was doing that, I was talking to Retro Studios in Austin, and this is probably 2 years before they started Tropical Freeze. So I knew I was going to do it almost from the moment I left Rare, and I really enjoyed that project. And we did Tropical Freeze for the Wii U, and then for the Switch. And I've done a few other projects. I've done Tengami and obviously Ukulele, and there's a new Ukulele coming up, and also Snake Pass for Sumo Digital, just to talk about those briefly. So I've been very busy since I've left, and still enjoying being busy at the moment.
Good.
Nice.
David, when I was reading up about you, I noticed something that all my favorite music from the N64 era of Rare was music done by you, but at the same time, it was games that I didn't play myself. I would just, listen to after the fact that I heard about it. So for example, I'll give you an example. Donkey Kong Country. I would play it over at friends' houses and demo kiosks and shops and stores and whatnot. But I personally never I never bought Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo, 1, 2, or 3. Because personally, I knew it was a good game, but I was personally waiting for the N64. And but then I was listening to music, and I was like, what music is this? And they said it's from Donkey Kong Country. I was like, wow, the Super Nintendo made music this good?
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So like my favorite, although I've not even played that specific level, my favorite obviously is Sticker Brush Symphony.
Yes.
Which is, a lot of people's favorites anyways, as well.
Yeah, I think my favourite was the Haunted Woods. I think it's got another name as well. It's the one that's in, I think they use it in the Swamp level. It was written first for a Swamp level. And I was trying to get the sounds from the CR78, which is a drum machine that Roland made, and it had these preset rhythms in that Phil Collins also liked to use as well. and they were quite expensive, but in UK money they were about £600 to buy these machines. And the fact that I could actually emulate it and get it onto the Super NES, which had hardly any memory, and it was part of the soundtrack, that was one of the things that, from the technical aspect, that was one of the things that interested me. And I also like the way that the melody in the background slides around, and it's also got some filtering on that the Super NES doesn't come with naturally. So
I mean,
one of those kind of technical things. I was very pleased with the music, and from a technical aspect as well, I was quite pleased to have managed to get that onto the Super NES.
I mean, honestly, the stuff that you guys just did on the Super NES, whether it's music or graphics or whatever, it was you guys did the impossible, basically.
Yeah, I can remember when we first started working on it full time. We had a whole year to get this game done, which seemed like a long time for a video game, but at the same time, the amount of processing that was required to get the graphics, because they were rendered and we'd have several frames per character. And we had these silicon graphics machines that were huge, and they must, I don't know, they probably had a power station built just for Rare, I'm sure. And they'd leave them rendering overnight, and they came in and they put them in, and those guys just worked immense magic on all the graphics for that game. And I think that was one of the drivers as well for trying to get the music to sound as good as the graphics, or at least I did my best to do that.
I mean, okay, I have a question, because I know a lot of people are going to be interested in Donkey Kong related questions, or questions from that, that specific era. When working on Donkey Kong Country, because that's the game that pretty much put Rare on the map, basically.
Yes.
So did you guys, when you guys were working on the game, I mean, obviously, Donkey Kong was a known franchise at the time, but I mean, it wasn't like mega big, but it was known. But did you guys think that it was gonna like explode the way it did, or just did you guys think it was just gonna be like a moderate success, or what was the feeling in the studio like?
I mean, Donkey Kong, it had done quite well. It had been out before, so it was nice to have a Nintendo character to work with, and Kevin done all the 3D rendering and got it working on screen and it looked great. But the feeling at the studio was it was going to be good, but we had no idea that it was going to go off and sell 9 or 10 million units, which I think it's probably sold. So we had no idea really. And again, some of that is because we're in the middle of nowhere, out in the countryside, just getting on with it. We just got on with it. So we have no idea. I mean, hopefully games sell well. It's part of the reason we're doing it. But for it to sell that well, yeah, I don't think any of us really had an idea it was going to do quite as well as it did.
Like, what was the reaction in the studio? Like, once like the sales figures came in, like after like a couple of weeks or something. Like, was there like a big celebration or?
I think again, when it went out, it sold. I personally wasn't aware of how well it was selling, probably for many years afterwards.
Wow.
Again, because we were in the countryside, and the information that we got was very selective. So we didn't have the internet, so we didn't quite know how well it was selling. So for me, it was several years before I knew exactly how well it had done.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So for me, I thought it had done okay, and. I just got working on Country 2 and working on that one, and it was probably when I was working on the N64 before I appreciated just how many units had actually sold on the NES for the Donkey Kong Country series.
So then, okay, I have a question now for the N64 era. So you obviously did work on Donkey Kong 64, but
no. He did Donkey Kong 64. So I was working on a different project, which was probably at the time it was called Dinosaur Planet at the time.
Oh, Star Fox Adventures.
Later became Star Fox Adventures.
So, because my question leading up to that is, who is responsible for the DK rap?
That would be Grant Kirkhope.
Okay.
Yes, you can talk to Grant about that one.
Well, to be honest, I know a lot of people don't like the DK rap, but personally,
it's awesome. It's absolutely amazing.
I never saw why it got so much hate. I mean, I was, at the time.
It polarizes opinion. People, you know, it's like certain foods, you either love it or you hate it.
True.
But you can't ignore it, can you? So
No.
it's out there, and it's certainly a statement.
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, just as personally, my thing with the DK rap was I was just happy that there was like, you know, music with lyrics on an N64 cartridge. So whether the rap itself was bad, it didn't matter to me. I had, you know, because I was just sick of people saying the PlayStation can do better music because it's CD based. So I didn't care if the DK rap. I mean, obviously now people appreciate it because of nostalgia. But back when it released, I remember a lot of people hating the DK rap. But
Yeah, I think over the years, looking back, I think people have come to appreciate the time and the effort and the artistic integrity of the DK rap.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
standing
yeah.
on its own 2 feet now.
Yeah.
I think way more people like it now than the people that used to hate it back then.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Yeah, absolutely.
And David, I just wanted to just like switch gears and just wanted to talk about your experience in Kuwait when you visited us last year. So
Yeah.
I'm basically going to just give you like 2 questions, and I'll just let you go. Basically, what did you think when you first got, you know, the invites, the initial invites, and then your actual experience in Kuwait?
Okay, yeah, I mean, I've thought about this quite a lot. We've only briefly talked about it earlier, but our experience of Kuwait, especially in England and through the media, goes back to the Kuwaiti War, which was 15 or so years ago.
Right.
So the thing that we associate Kuwait with is it's a very sandy place, war-torn country, and when yourself, Yusuf, when you invited me over, I have to admit, as I think I said last year, that I was very apprehensive about coming over and visiting Kuwait, but you convinced me that all is well, and you know, it's definitely worth coming over, and obviously lots of people come over to your show and talk highly about it. So I had this kind of almost trepidation about coming over, but I'm always curious. It's always lovely to meet new people. So we got on the plane and we arrived in Kuwait, and it is sandy, but it's by the sea and it's quite warm. And it's got its own unique charm. I was very pleased to be invited over, and yeah, I mean, the people there, absolutely lovely, the place is lovely, it's warm, it's hospitable, and it's completely different from the UK. So we went to the show, and you know, it's a lovely hall, and the people really did make us feel very welcome. It was a pleasure to be at the GX 2018, wasn't it? That we were there. So yeah, I'd highly recommend it. And if anybody else is invited to go to Kuwait to be at the GX show, definitely jump on to go, because it was fantastic. We really enjoyed it.
You know, I still remember when I told you that I would like you to have like an area, like a booth or something, just to like your fans can meet you. And then you said, no, it's okay, don't worry. I doubt many people will know who I am. And then you actually attended, and people were like jumping all over you. and then you came to me, and you were like, you know what, Yusuf, I should have taken you up on that offer.
Yeah, I did. In retrospect, I'd have done things very differently. And having said that, because of that, we get invited to quite a lot more shows now, and it's lovely to go and sit on panels, talk about stuff, do demonstrations. I go to universities and talk to aspiring students who want to be video game composers, and demonstrate to them how I got into the business and stuff like that. And it's nice to go to, as I say, to these shows and talk to people about retro video games and that kind of stuff. And it's because of my experience in Kuwait that's kind of shaped the way that I do things. And yeah, if I could go back and do GX 2018 again, I'd do it completely differently. I would come with CDs, I would come with boxes of CDs.
You know,
and lots of stuff to hand out and sign it, and yeah, but it was great, and it was lovely to to meet everyone, and it was a completely unique and new experience. So yeah, I do things differently now, but it was kind of fun not knowing what to expect as well.
True. Actually, since you were talking about, you had a good time, I want to show our viewers a clip of something that you did last year when you were just spontaneously, roaming. So I just want to show the people. Well, I'll just be quiet so they can hear the music. But I don't want to talk over it too much. But there's a video right now on screen with you and Nigel at GX 2018, and you were this was the last day of the show. It was like almost closing time. I think it was like an hour before closing, and you were just walking around the show and playing, random music from stuff that you composed, and you had crowds gather around you. And that, to me personally, was my favorite moment of last year because it was so spontaneous, and people absolutely loved it, and it was obvious that you loved it as well.
Oh yeah, I think obviously you said, come on Dave, we need to do something, and Nigel's really up for it, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm not sure this is going to work, just kind of wandering around, is anyone really interested? And of course, as soon as Nigel started playing the drums, and I think I sat and started playing, it got an immediate crowd, people were very interested. And because of that, we do the same thing at other shows now, and it gets people interested in the video games that we've worked on. And it's just kind of a fun thing to do. It's a good way of entertaining people whilst we're at shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, honestly, last year when you came and you did your performance on stage, it was like about an hour long, which is actually available on our YouTube channel, FikraKW. But that performance that you did, after the show ended, when I asked people, just to get general feedback, they all said their favorite thing at GX 2018 was your performance on stage with Nigel.
Well, it's very kind of you to say. Obviously, we enjoyed it, and it's a bit different from a lot of the shows that we go to. There's a lot of people sitting on stage talking about what they've done, which is interesting to a point. It's always nice to be able to show people what you've done and how you do it, and involve them almost in the process. So anything that's live and spontaneous, as you quite rightly say, just makes the whole process and involves people a bit more. So I think it makes it a tiny bit more interesting than just listening to somebody repeat something.
And I have a question for something that you showed us in Kuwait last year. You started your performance with a video of a Donkey Kong orchestra in Japan. I just wanted to know, were you involved at all in that orchestra, or were you just invited as a guest?
I wasn't even there. It just appeared on the internet.
Oh wow! So you were not involved in
it beforehand. And I thought that's very good. I think it's Symphonic Games or something like that, and it's performed in a big hall. And they've taken the DKC2 or Donkey Kong Country 2 score, and they've just made it into this amazing suite that lasts about 10 or 12 minutes. And I don't know who did it, but it's amazing. I'd have loved to have been there in the hall whilst we were recording it. But it's a great sort of representation of the stuff we did for Donkey Kong Country.
So you have you worked on any orchestrated music?
Sorry, you said what was that?
Have you worked on any orchestrated music?
I've worked on a few bits of orchestrated music, not as much as I want to. A lot of the people like the style of almost the Donkey Kong Country chip tune style that's updated for now, which is a shame really, because I love orchestral music, and given the opportunity, it would be lovely to have a huge orchestra and a big score to do for an orchestra. Hasn't quite happened yet, but there's still time.
It might happen sometime in the future, who knows?
Or the near future.
Near future.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. So anyways, David, we had some questions from your fans to ask you, so we just wanted to go through those questions. Let's see. Yeah, let's see what our first question is. What do you think of releasing special albums. What's your take on that?
What sort of special albums?
Like a compilation album, like your past work.
Like, for example, a soundtrack revival album containing remastered soundtracks of the SNES.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm not going to do when I work for Nintendo or when I work for Rare or Xbox Studios. The soundtracks that I've created for them, the IP, the intellectual property, belongs to either Nintendo or whoever owns the actual IP. So I can't really do remixes, and I'm not that keen on doing remixes myself. I'd rather do original music. I find it a lot more engaging. I mean, I'm doing music of all sorts. I like doing remixes, but given the choice, I'd always write original music. So I'm working on an album coming out next year called 2020, which is, it kind of pulls on the nostalgia of some of the stuff we've done before, but it's all original music, and it will be a completely original album of David White's music. So I think that's what I'm concentrating on, rather than trying to do remixes of stuff that I've done before.
Okay, cool. The next question is, people are asking can they buy your music on iTunes or other similar stores?
I think it's still online. There's the soundtrack for Tengami is still on iTunes. But as for other scores, I'm not sure. It seems to be variable. It changes all the time. So personally, not from me, but next year that will change.
All right.
Okay, cool.
The next question is there a franchise that you have not composed for yet that you would love to work on?
One of the franchises that was very popular when we did Donkey Kong Country was a game called Spyro the Dragon. It's a very endearing game. And one of my all-time musical heroes, Stuart Copeland, did the original soundtrack, and he did a fantastic job of it. But if somebody were to say, would you like to work on the Spyro the Dragon game, then obviously I would love to. But there's quite a few of the games that I look at and I think, I'd really like to do the score, but, maybe. Who knows?
All right. The next question we got is there any chance for a live music concerts?
I think it's nice doing what we do now, where we go around and do shows like GX 2018. As for a big music concert, I think that's probably up at the next level. So I'll probably carry on doing smaller shows where specifically aiming it at university students or retro video game shows. But as for a big live performance, I have nothing planned, and for something I really would need to coordinate that with Nintendo. And so at the moment, there's nothing lined up for anything like that.
All right.
That's a shame, but no worries.
Maybe
next GX.
Nintendo put in touch, and I'd love to be involved, and I think it would be a great thing to do. But at the moment, we'll just carry on doing the shows and the university things. So, but even that is very enjoyable. It's nice to get out and meet so many people around the world and talk to them and show them what I do.
I think Mr. David is hinting at you to do something for the next year, Mr. Yusuf. So you better get on it.
Hopefully.
Nice.
The next question is, what is the ideal video game that you would like to play? What kind of game do you like to play?
My favourite video game is the Zelda series. I think of all the games I've played, they're the ones that I completely get lost in. I can remember when I first started working at Rare, Tim came over and he gave me the first Zelda cartridge, and I plugged it in. He said, just play that, just get a feel for the game. And 3 weeks later, without any gaps or any breaks, I was still trying to finish the game. I love playing Zelda. I'd seem to be very skint if I carry on playing video games. So I just get completely engrossed and involved, and it's great. It's a lovely escape, but it's no good for productivity.
Well, just so you know, Zelda is personally my favorite franchise of all time.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it.
It's amazing. And then I just closed the window. Let me just open it up again. The next question is this question is which do you like more, Sticker Brush Symphony or Seashore War?
I suppose I think it's very hard to talk about your own stuff. To talk about the stuff that you listen to that other people have done, but when I'm listening to stuff, it's your opinion changes every day depending on what mood. So today I would go with Seashore War, but some days it's Sticker Brush Symphony. But yeah, I think overall Seashore War is probably one of my favourite tracks.
Is this the kind of question? Is this
still like listening to it as well?
Is this the kind of question where like someone's asking like who's your favorite child?
Yeah, absolutely. See, some days again going back to that DKT track, the Haunted Wood track. Sometimes that's my favourite one, and I suppose it depends what mood you're in. And then sometimes the Aquatic Ambiences, and then sometimes some of the Battletoads, and moods change. So,
right,
and that's
right.
what makes writing and listening to music so good, because it's very personal, and it's very much how you feel on the day.
And the next question is, are there any new games that you're working on?
Yes, I am working on a game at the moment which is taking all of my time, and I can't tell you what it is because we sign these NDAs.
Yeah.
I can't tell anybody, but as soon as I can, I'll be shouting it from the rooftops. But at the moment, I can't tell anyone.
And another question is actually this is a question that I personally like. How does the process of making music in a video game project go like? Like what's the process, and how are the developers involved? Are you with the developers, or are you by yourself? What's the process like?
Well, because I make a noise, I have to develop by myself, but it's always very useful to be tightly integrated with the developers. So normally what happens is, and it's still pretty much the same process, where I'll have a development system so I can play the games that are on the system, some of the games, and then start playing early development prototypes of games, just to get a feel for it, and to get a feel for the rhythm that it moves along on the screen, or the action that was supposed to be helping to evoke on the screen. And so I get an idea for tempo quite soon on, and obviously the graphics, which are not, because one of the great things about writing music is that you get to work with some amazing artists, and it's always very inspiring when you're seeing people's artwork, think, I've got to do this artwork justice. And so that's always very tight inspiration of the stuff you're working on, and then it kind of builds from there, and then you'll start sending it over to developers, and they'll come back with ideas, and the more integration with the developer, the more you're going to have to go and see people personally every now and again, and have regular Skype conversations or conversations in person. The more it helps. So it's quite a tight thing to do it properly.
All right, and this one is not really a question, it's more of a comment. This guy, it's in Arabic. He says, I don't have a question for you, I just want to say that I love you.
Probably people ask me to marry them every day.
So he has to get the line, right? There's a big waiting line for that, right, David?
I'm glad he loves the music.
So yeah, that was, I believe, the questions that we got asked, and we had a really good. Actually, wait, we do have one question from the viewers right now.
Okay.
He says, "Tell David Wise he's a pioneer in the field of music and entertainment industry. You are a genuine genius and have a hand in composing creativity, innovative, originality, and stylish music. Our infinite thanks and gratitude for all your hard work. Our childhood wouldn't be a perfect, nostalgic, and beautiful memories without your music." That's someone that just put it in the comments right now.
Okay, well, I mean, it's extremely kind words, and I think it is heartwarming, not just for me, but for all the people I work with, the game designers and the artists, you know, the people whose companies they were, such as Rare and Nintendo. It's a really heartwarming thing when people say that the experiences that we worked on so many years ago helped to shape people's childhoods, and that they enjoyed them. And it's always good to know that, you know, all that hard work and the passion that we showed transfers over to the product, and people really enjoy playing it, and that means a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I echo what he said, and I'm sure Ali feels the same way.
Yeah. Even though I haven't played the Donkey Kong games, I think except for one on the Game Boy Color or Advance or something like that, the Donkey Kong music from that era is very, very impactful, and I've heard it so many times while playing Super Smash Brothers. So I've fallen in love through those soundtracks through that game, and they're really, really unbelievably well done.
And just interjecting there on Smash, it's been so many versions of my tunes used for Smash, and it was a real treat. In fact, it was a year ago to the day that they first released the K. Rool.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Mario Star, yeah, for Smash, and that was just amazing to see. And the guys who had done it made a fantastic job of it. But just to hear the music that we'd done, you know, 25 plus years ago, retold with the mariachi band for Super Smash Brothers, you know, it's fantastic. I don't know, it's very hard to put into words, but it's just great to be part of that experience and hear how they've retold the music for today.
The Gangplank, I'm not sure what the name of the music track is, but the one that was used for the K. Rool reveal trailer, was that one you worked on for Smash Brothers, or was that just a remix or a new version of your original tune for the old game?
It was I have nothing to do with the remix. Somebody else did that, but it was great to hear, you know, a reworked or a remix of the tune that I did for Donkey Kong Country all those years ago.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful tune. Thank you very much for
well, thank you.
You know, about
the guys who did the remix.
about 10 or 15 years ago, I would actually use Sticker Brush Symphony as a like I would, because like, you know, people would ask me, like people who don't play video games, they would say, you know, why do you spend so much time playing video games? Like, what is it good for, etc. And I thought that, you know, everybody knows music. So I said, hey, you know, maybe if I make them listen to video game music, they'll appreciate, like, oh wow, like there's a lot of effort, a lot of emotion in these pieces. And I remember one of the first pieces I would make people hear who would doubt video games is Sticker Brush Symphony. And a lot of them did not believe that that was from a video game.
Okay, yeah, it was.
So,
get back to this now. Again, a few weeks ago, somebody was asking me about Sticky Bush, because a lot of people do, fortunately. I'm not setting up complaining. But they were asking me how I got it in there, and, you know, did I play it in on the keyboard. But Sticky Bush and all the stuff on the Super NES was actually worked out on the keyboard, but was actually hand typed in hex code.
wow.
So with musical instruments, it was all coded in and typed in. We had such little memory. We only had 64K, which is about 400 milliseconds of a CD.
Wow.
So it was all coded, and it took a lot of work. Obviously worth it, but
wow.
it was quite hard to get going. So
Unbelievable.
it never existed music, it was always code, basically.
Wow.
So it wasn't actual music composed, the music was made in code.
The music was actually written straight onto the Super NES, so I'd probably get the bass line working first. And then
That's amazing.
And then I'd start working on the melodies and the chords. So it was a very integrated process, but it was all coded. So we had 8 channels, and that's 8 monophonic channels. So there's only ever 8 sounds at a time, and they have to do the sound effects as well. So there's a lot of stuff going, to get those 8 channels to work. It was quite,
Wow.
quite in the mind, that one.
Wow.
And was that process like, is that something that you guys found hard, or that you decided early on that you're going to do it this way? I mean, how did the idea to code the music come about?
It started on the NES, and that's because it was a little 8/9/10 chip, it's called, which has 2 pulse wave channels and I think a triangle channel and a noise channel, and it certainly wasn't powerful enough for MIDI. When we had this Super NES stuff, we could have used MIDI, but it took such a large chunk of the memory to get the actual thing working that interpreted the MIDI and put it in, that it was too much memory. And also, when we first doing it, they wanted to use half of the memory for graphics, for decompressing the graphics. So we had to use the most efficient way possible to get the music in, and the way to do that was just to actually code it, because when you use MIDI, it was just taking far too much data to actually do it that way. So that was why we decided to code it.
Wow, I did not know that. That's actually new information.
I'm mind blown right now. I'm absolutely mind blown.
Yeah, with
Unbelievable.
DKC2, we had an extra 15k of data. It only had 64k in the RAM. And it was a very slow process. So we could perhaps swap 1 or 2 samples per track, and that was it. Otherwise, it would have taken too long to load. So I think we had 80k altogether for the second one, total data. But it was, So the way to do it was to get these samples and make them as small as possible. So a lot of them are called single cycle waveforms, which are infinitely small, and then just to go from one to the other by cross-fading, and that's how we got the movement in the sound. It just took a lot of, and we couldn't have, if we did use MIDI, it's only because we were coding it that we could do it that way.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Well, David, we're almost at the end of our show. I just wanted to know if there's anything you would like to say, to your fans, anything you would like to just say, just like closing words, anything like that.
Well, obviously, it's great to know that the music that I work on translates to a whole worldwide audience, and again, thank you so much for inviting me over to Kuwait. It was lovely to visit your lovely country and meet you. It was all fantastic. And again, to everybody in Kuwait who listens to my music and plays our video games, thank you. And I'm really pleased that you've enjoyed playing them over the years, and hopefully we'll carry on making some more good games here.
All right.
Thank you for coming over.
And thank you for coming over and accepting the invite, and just being just an awesome person. Because I'm going to tell you right now, GX 2018 was the best GX, and I mean even if GX grows, I think when just the kind of the group of people that attended 2018, they were just an amazing group, and we had so much fun just hanging out. Remember, just going out and just like doing random stuff. It's going to be very hard for me to replicate that level again, I think.
Yeah, it was great. The Square guys, they're amazing. They were great fun as well as the Neo Geo.
Right.
Everybody who was there were there for a great time, and it was just good fun all around. We really enjoyed it. Right.
Well, anyways, David, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for doing this interview with us. And I really, really hope that, and I guess you can take this as a teaser, that we'll be able to see you very, very soon back again in Kuwait.
That'd be marvellous. I'd love to come over again. And again, thank you for inviting me the last time. Lovely to talk to you. And all the best. Thank you very much.
And David, if you could just stay online just for a few minutes. We just want to say goodbye to our fans. And then there's just something I just want to tell you. Just if you could just stay on just like for 1 minute.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah. No worries.
So anyways, يعطيكم العافية حق كل واحد تابعنا اليوم. انزين، وطبعا عندنا احنا بعد حلقه ثانيه ان شاء الله الاسبوع الجاي يوم الخميس مع ضيف هم مميز احنا نعلن عنه الاسبوع الجاي ان شاء الله. انزين، شكرا جميعا، وهالحلقه راح تكون موجوده على يوتيوب.
اوكي.
من اليوم. كل حلقات ويانا راح تكون موجوده على يوتيوب.
تمام.
زين. وان شاء الله احنا نشوفكم الاسبوع الجاي، ويعطيكم العافيه ومع السلامه.